Hello everyone, my name is Zeotrex, and today we're taking a look at the Fantastic Four First Steps, starring Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and apologies on this last one if I mispronounce it, Eben Moss Barack. The movie tells the tale of the Fantastic Four as their lives have changed up since the Invisible Woman, Sue Storm, gives birth. And because of this, there's also this giant planet-eating threat known as Galactus. So, cinematically, Fantastic Four has kind of sucked. There was one in 1994, never got released. Then there was the first one in 2005, which I thought was alright. I wasn't the biggest fan of what they were doing with a lot of the things. I didn't like that version of Doom. I really didn't like Sue Storm. Opinion has shifted on that a little bit, though. Because I remember I finished watching that and I was like, oh god, this is a terrible Sue. And I was talking with it with a friend and she was like, yeah, no, Jessica Alba was going through some shit on set. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I can sort of like understand it. Still, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but at least I understand why. Rise of Silver Surfer wasn't good. 2015, put a gun to my head. I'd say just mag dump me right there, right then and there. Hey, you want to watch Fantastic Four 2015? Cut my penis off, shove it in my mouth, and pull the trigger. I'd rather do that than watch that shit. Say that again? Like, what was that? What was that? Fuck you, Josh Trank. So, yeah, when this movie was announced, the MCU's Fantastic Four... God, my hair, I fucking hate it. When the Josh Trank Fantastic Four movie was announced, it's hot in here. Not, the MCU Fantastic Four, when this was announced back in 2019... Wow, that's a long time. But when this was announced back in 2019, I was a little bit hesitant while also being excited because one, it was the MCU's first voyage into the Fantastic Four. This was like way before we kind of had like a big. This was like right off the end of like Endgame, the end of the Infinity Saga, the end of Endgame, and it was like we were so excited because Marvel around this time was held in much higher regards than it is now. A lot of people are a lot more critical of Marvel today than they were back then. Like, because back then they were genuinely really good movies. And it's not just nostalgia. You look at them and they were like actually well-made movies. And then Phase 4 comes along and the quality did admittedly dip. And so there was that hesitation with the Fantastic Four. Plus, John Watts was the director of the movie, and a lot of people were hesitant about that because they weren't the biggest fan of his style of Spider-Man movies. I like the MCU Spider-Man, but I will admit he doesn't really have the best style, which is why I'm excited for this new director to come in for a brand new day. And yeah, I can't believe it's here. This movie sets itself differently from Earth 1999 and takes place on Earth 838, which is also the birthday of Jack Kirby, which is really cool. And it's this like futuristic 60s setting. So it was looking like really great. And the cast on it, when the cast was first announced, a lot of people like showed hesitation, like, I'm gonna have to look back because I think I covered the Pedro Pascal Mr. Fantastic when that was announced, and I was like, oh wow, okay. Because like we were really unsure of who would be Reed Richards, and the cast was announced, and yeah. So did the movie? It was just getting better with every trailer. The first trailer looked great. The second one got even better. All the promotional and like it was really reeling us in. It was like looking great. Did it succeed? I really gotta say. It's great. It was great. I loved it. I loved it. It is one of the best Marvel movies to come out recently, alongside Thunderbolts, which I really liked. And yeah, Marvel is back. I mean, we say that all the time. I think it's just that we're getting there. We're getting there. Like Captain America, that was kind of a bust, but yeah, we're slowly getting there with it, and like yeah. Fantastic Four was just this movie was everything that I really wanted to see come from the Fantastic Four. a charming, heartfelt story about Marvel's first family, like the first team under the name Marvel. Remember, not the first ever Marvel superheroes. That would be the Human Torch, and there are characters who do predate the Fantastic Four, like Captain America. I think Namor as well. Namor. Yeah, I think Namor predates it because like they were Timely Comics, and then Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, Steve Ditko. They all came in and like helped found Marvel to what it is today. The cast is great, honestly. From the Fantastic Four to the Silver Surfer to Galactus, it does so much I liked, with few issues that I do want to say that I don't think negate the entire movie, but are definitely things I wish were focused on. So let's start it off with just listing the members. Reed Richards, played by Pedro Pascal. The issue with Reed Richards as a character, the sort of fear that you have to realize when you're gonna do this, is he's a character who is smart. That is his whole goal, is that... God, it's so fucking out of sync. I don't think this webcam is working anymore. He's one of the smartest characters alive. He's one of the smartest man on Earth. And the problem that could very well occur from that is that we saw this with Leader in Brave New World. Smart character, dumb guy writing him. I don't think luckily he doesn't fall into that this time, and we've seen that happen with Reed with the fucking Multiverse of Madness. Hey Wanda, so he can kill you with like speaking. Don't use that to his advantage. Don't use that to your advantage. I just gave you his power, and I know you're like reality bending, but he can kill you. Black Bolt, no! If only there was a way to prevent it! If only there was actually a way to outsmart Wanda in this situation! I'm the smartest man! Like, what the hell was that? I didn't like that version of Reed. But this version of Reed does show off his intelligence a lot. There's these scenes where he goes off these big, like, ramblings about, like, equations and, like, Archimedes and, like, a lever. And, like, there's just so much of him just trying to figure out how to stop this giant threat. And he looks great as Reed. I love the costumes. Every costume in this movie looked great. I'm trying to avoid that word. One thing, though, I did wish they got creative with his powers. For the most part, he stretches, and it's not like it looks bad. So why did Kamala not have her stretching powers? Now I'm starting to actually hate that decision. But like most of the time, he's just stretching his arms out, stretching his legs. Whereas, like in the comics, if like he wanted to turn his head, he'd like stretch his neck back to look at them, or he would use himself as a blanket, or kind of fold a giant hammer. Like he could do these crazy things with the elastic abilities, and I wish they got a little bit creative with that. And I wish we got to see more of it. But he just kind of stretches and whatnot, which is fine. I mean, it looks good. But considering all the crazy shit that he does in the comics, yeah, I mean, he turns himself into a dinosaur. I just wish yeah. And again, like, he has this charming personality where he does mean good. He does mean good, and he is smart, and sometimes that can leave him to sound like a bit of a dick, which is who Reed is, but he's still well-meaning. Now, Sue Storm is honestly the heart of this film. She's sort of great as the main lead of the movie, although she's not leader of the team. Reed Richards is still leader of the team. Those rumors are false. But she's still great as the sort of, like, heart and muscle of this movie. Because, yeah, obviously she's just giving birth, and, like, her motherly love over Franklin is great. And I think this is Vanessa Kirby is the best live-action Sue Storm we've had, honestly. I can't check that because it's on the charger, so stop messaging me. Yeah, again, she's the best live-action Sue Storm we've had. I love her costume. I love that. Like, she has the best costume of the team because it just looks so good. The white collar, the white belt. I mean, it's the fantastic part. I love the sweater, sort of astronaut look that they gave them. I love that so much. Now, Johnny Storm, on the other hand, was a nice surprise. I really liked Johnny Storm in this movie because he's given a lot more to do than just sort of be there to banter with like Ben, or sitting there and kind of like be a ladies' man, like charm the ladies, or be a doofus. While he does do that, while he is like a doofus, like a flamehead and like whatnot, he is given a lot to do, and he is like indeed really smart. Sorry, it's like so fucking hot in this room right now. I hate it. I hate California. I hate summer. And like he has this love for space, and is indeed a smart fella. And like I'll get into that more into spoilers, because I really want to focus more on that, because I really appreciate what they did with Johnny Storm. But here's the thing. Let's talk about him. I think he's the weakest element of the team. He's the weakest member of the team, because the moments we do get with him are great. Again, the banters with Johnny, and sort of like there's scenes of him like kind of they don't really focus on the whole self-loathing thing that happens a lot with Sting, where he's like, man, look at me, I look ugly. But and I kind of like that, because people don't look at him like a monster. They're like, yeah, hold the car, and they're like, they like him a lot. And they tried doing something with him. You can tell that I think there's supposed to be more to him. I'll get into that later. That's one of the big issues, is there's supposed to be a lot more. But I think what they did with Sting was good enough. I just wish we got to see him more. I wish we really got to see more of that emotion and that connection. So something that they sort of do throughout the movie is they build up his catchphrase, "It's clobbering time." That's all shown in the trailers. I thought that would go on like a lot more. Like, hey Ben, what time is it? Like say that throughout the movie, and then he constantly denies it. They don't really give a good I don't feel like they do a good enough reason as to why he doesn't really want to say it. Because he says it's like, oh, that's only something I say in the cartoons. I thought the idea there would be like, kind of playing into the fact that he doesn't like himself because of this rock monster that he became. So, yeah. There's subtle hint, like, I just wish we got to see more of him. But all four of them combined, they make a great family dynamic, and it just works really well. Reed and Sue, I believe them as a married couple, Vanessa Kirby and Pedro Pascal. Like, I believe that they are indeed married, even though they're not, and despite some interviews, they could get, like, a bit rowdy. Like, again, you feel that brother and sisterly relationship with Sue and Johnny. And we're talking about the Ben and Johnny relationship. I like that in the movie they're not just like straight up bullying each other, because while I liked that about Chris Evans and Michael Chiklis's thing, it did feel a lot like bullying. Like Johnny would be like a bit too mean at times, but no, here it's just like light banner. And like, so if you've read Mark Waid's Fantastic Four run, which I think you should, it's a great run. That's not what's here now. That thing's expensive to find. This is Jonathan Hickman. That if you were to read that, like, it begins with them like arguing like little kids in the back of the Fantastic Car. I love that so much, and I love the relationship. But I also like that they're not just like bantering all the time and just being mean to each other. No, they do genuinely like have moments. And like, again, the overall style of the movie is gorgeous. I love the retro futuristic aesthetic that they went for. It's so damn awesome, and I love it quite a lot. The soundtrack as well, it really helps. It's kind of like this boopy and beepy, like you're going to a different world, like traveling to a different dimension, like you're exploring space. I love that soundtrack so much. Fantastic Four! And the movie, like, again, visually is stunning. A lot of people were complaining about the CGI and whatnot, but there's a scene with Silver Surfer in a black hole that, oh my god, that's going to be stuck with me forever. Just her grinding up against her surfing the Mr. Chaos is surfing the city. Her surfing the black hole. That shit was so cool. It was so beautiful. They're like, I was just astounded by what I've seen, and it plays a lot with the big bad of the movie, Galactus. Galactus. Like, it's so good to just see him. Like, just see Galactus on screen. I feel like, just speaking from my childhood, I feel like he's one of those characters that you kind of just see and marvel as a kid. Like, you see him, you may not know him, but you, like, know he exists. That's how I felt. Like, I didn't know he was a Fantastic Four villain until I, grew up and comic books became more of, like, a interest of mine. But, like, this is the Galactus that I kind of pictured as a kid, He's one of the best Marvel villains as of recent. And it's like they just ripped him straight from the page. Ralph Ineson does such a great job as him. Like, his voice, it's so menacing. It's such a presence. And every time he was on screen, I was just giggling. I was breathing. I was panting. I couldn't believe we get to see and while they hide him from the trailers for, like, an impact, they really don't shy away with just showing him. Like, he just walks around, and, again, it's great. And I love just the simplicity of these designs. I know a lot of people complained about, like, oh, they gave the line spam to Galactus. That's not line spam. That's texture. That's detail to make this thing look more real. You want to see line spam? Fucking Sentry suit from Thunderbolts. That's line spam. This is just detail on it to make him look more like an actual being instead of, like, just flat colors, And also, I like how I did like how vibrant the suit was. Something I was a bit worried about was it might look a bit gray in the actual movie, but I think that was just the scenes they were showing. No, you can tell he has purple and blue. I like that. One nitpick I do have is I do wish we got to see him at the scale of the Celestials. I know he can change his size. I'm not complaining about that. But I always imagined, like, I was saying this in the Brave New World review. I was saying that they should make it so that... And I was saying I was excited to see Galactus because of how they're portraying the scale of Tiamat, the Celestial that fell down to Earth. But, no, they don't really do that, but they do still a good job at showing his scale. Surfer. Let's talk about Silver Surfer, who is Shalla-Bal. I do think it was an interesting choice to go with Shalla-Bal. I'm not going to say anything. That's not this channel. I just think it was interesting to kind of do this about a character who doesn't really have that many appearances in the comics, as opposed to the much more popular Norrin Reed. But I don't really mind, because I loved Silver Surfer in this movie. I wish she was in it more. She kind of shows up a few times, and there's this great scene of her and Johnny that made me cry, because not only is it such an impactful scene, it again is visually beautiful. The cinematography in this movie is great. I can't really wait to see more of Silver in these films, whether it's Shala or Norrin. I kind of just want to see those shots of them just floating around in space. I think Silver Surfer has great potential as a character in the MCU. Alright, so let's get into the issues that I had with the movie. Maybe the pacing. The movie was fast. The movie was fast-paced, and while I do think that I liked it, I did like how fast-paced and kind of breakneck speed it was. When you sit there and you think about it, there's a lot missing from this movie, and I think this is my biggest issue. A lot was cut out of it. There's minor scenes with the Thing and a dog, or the Thing talking with Sue, or I should call him Ben. That's dehumanizing. Ben talking with Sue, or the kind of 60s intro of we don't miss family dinner, the thing that they would advertise a lot. That was not in the movie. They cut out an entire character, John Malkovich, as Red Ghost. What? That I think is the worst offender. And it looks like, I think there's going to be a director's cut, most likely, or an extended version that has all of these scenes in, and I bet you it is going to be, again, this is such a great movie. I think that's just going to make it a lot better now. The tone, no, this isn't an issue, I just kind of wanted to talk about it. The tone of the movie. I love the tone for this thing, and the Torch and Woman and Fan, it takes itself seriously. It treats Galactus as such a big threat. They just constantly try to see, how can we take him out? How can we, do this? And like you don't know if they're gonna win. This movie is already established to take place on Earth 838, and like the post credits of Thunderbolts did show them coming to our world, and so it makes you think: are they gonna survive? Are they gonna succeed in stopping Galactus? It never breaks the tension for a joke. They let these serious moments just go on. These characters are talking about like, how can we stop him? This is like kind of scary. We don't know what to do. And Johnny never comes in and he like says a joke or whatever. Like when he comes in, he does have something important to say to the plot and to the movie. As compared to like something like Brave New World, where it's like the reunion between Sam and Bucky, which we haven't seen since Falcon and the Winter Soldier. They kind of broke that up with a joke that I didn't really like. I thought that was kind of dumb. And that's kind of the issue with Marvel films, is that they never really let a serious scene play out. But this is the tone that I want for the movies going forward. And like this and Thunderbolts are restoring my faith in Marvel. Again, and it's not like it's just completely toned, grimy, like edgy, grimy, slimy. It has that lighthearted fun. Again, I really like the family dynamic, but like when it needs to get serious, it gets serious. Like they have that lighthearted fun with like the Fantastic Four. There's this really cute sequence at the beginning where Herbie, who I love Herbie, we love Herbie in this house. Herbie's baby proofing everything, and he messes everything up. Herbie, like he just shuts off the power. He causes Ben to trip down the stairs. I love Herbie. And baby Franklin. That was a weird looking baby. I'd rather have a CG baby than like baby that doesn't get to experience. I kind of wonder about that though. I'm gonna look into that if like by chance the babies on sets think of their like acting father as a real father. Do you ever think about that? But I really did. Baby Franklin looked a bit weird. The CGI also at times did look weird. It stood out because the rest of the movie wasn't gorgeous. But yeah. I just mentioned that. And like the stretching, there's a scene with Reed and a stretching that looks really weird. So I can imagine, I think that's probably why they didn't go all out and crazy with him. I hope we get to see that more in Doomsday. Well, Fantastic Four was a astounding movie. I loved every minute from it, from the cast, the family dynamic, to how it treats the material. Again, it does feel like, okay, here, let me give you some context. I just finished reading this of Volume 3 of Fantastic Four. I just finished this yesterday. And it felt, well, this one kind of is much more of like, it has a lot more like Marvel characters like Captain America, Iron Man, the Inhumans are in it. It felt like this. I mean, this probably would be the best bet. This is a story that happens so later in the series, where this is like the beginning of the Fantastic Four. Again, it just felt like I was reading the characters that I love so much come onto screen. I love that. Now, Fantastic Four gets an A, which kind of looks like a 4. Is it going to work now? Come on, please. So now let's get into spoilers. Oh, I see the issue. I just never... Alright, let's get into spoilers for the movie. So there's a lot... I don't feel like there's that much in the like actual movie that like if I were to like say it, it would ruin any surprises or spoilers. I mean, probably like it's more so just like, yeah, you should just see the movie for yourself to experience that thing, and like not big like internet like enjoyment ruining spoilers. So first off, again, I wanted to talk about the Shala ball scene with Johnny. So throughout the movie, Johnny is trying to translate. When he first meets Shala, she says this message in her language, and they kind of play up that like whole like, haha, she like was really charming. She was really like nice to me. I think we had a moment, but he was actually more interested in what she did say, because we know that Reed gives him like these messages for him to like look through, and throughout the movie he's translating those messages from other planets, and he meets up with Shala and plays the message throughout the city, and we find out like Shala's origin. Norton Reed is nowhere to be seen, so I wonder what that's about. Whatever, that's fine. They probably didn't want to cast a Norton Reed and commit to it quite yet. And that whole scene of Johnny saying, like, you know, these people are grateful for the fact that you spared their planet. What about these people who didn't get to have their planet spared? What about the people that you've marked that you marked for death, for Galactus to eat? And then the shot of her flying up and regretting it, and Johnny like saying, "Take me instead," and Shala like, "No, go leave." That shot in front of the moon invoked the Silver Surfer vibes that I've been wanting to see. It was so beautiful, and that's what I mean when I say I want to see more Surfer, to get more so that space isolation feelings. Let's talk about a villain I didn't expect to see in this movie. First of all, they mentioned a few villains. They mentioned, again, Red Ghost, who was completely cut out of the movie. We do see Reed punch an orangutan. That was funny. But, yeah, they mentioned like characters like Puppet Master, Diablo, the Wizard. But Mole Man is just straight up in the movie. He's an iconic Fantastic Four villain that you really wouldn't expect to see. And yet, here he is. He's funny. I like him a lot. He looks great. And, yeah, he serves his purpose in the story. Yeah. They also, another thing they do is they establish a future foundation, which is sort of this. Now, Johnny's not standing there going, "Flame on!" and getting murdered by a bunch of bugs and then tortured by a nihilist. No. I think that's more so just like a name reference, like an Easter egg, where Sue kind of like brings together world leaders. And there's a chair that is empty. Latveria. So yeah, so she established it's mentioned that there's a future foundation, which I liked. I wonder if they are going to do that story at one point in the MCU. Probably not, since that requires like a lot of history and chemistry, and just like a lot, like long times the stories for that. But yeah, like more so a research thing, and like these world leaders like from different countries. And again, there was this seat that was just straight up empty, and that was Latveria. And so it's cool to see that it's established, and I love the implication of that seat being empty, because Doctor Doom, it establishes that Doom has met the Fantastic Four. He wants nothing to do with them. So let's get into the post-credits then. So first of all, the end credits after everything. First of all, they have this quote by Jack Kirby. I really like that because I guess I'll talk about it in a more different video, but I think we shouldn't only just give credit to Stan Lee, but also to Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko. And while Stan Lee did help a lot in pushing Marvel to what it is, to treat him as like the sole guy who helped Marvel become what it was today, I think is a bit outlandish. Meanwhile, again, Jack Kirby, I mean, people credit him a lot with like helping the Fantastic Four be what it is. So it's been like 4 years since the events of the movie, meaning they've been the Fantastic Four for 8 years. Sue is reading a book to Franklin, who should be around 4 or 5 at this point now. Maybe 3. I think there's a time gap. I think there's a time. I think the movie takes place over the course of a year. So he grew up, maybe turned 1. 4 years later, he becomes like 4 or 5. He's a toddler. And yeah, so she goes to choose another book. She comes back. Like, I like the thing where it's like really advanced, complicated books for Franklin. And she comes back, and there's someone there. We see the green cloak. Franklin's touching his face. Metal mask in hand. Doctor Doom. We don't see that much of him. He's turned away from the camera. But I'm really excited. I'm excited to see Doom. And okay, real quick, like, hold on. Putting away our thoughts on the whole like situation of like whether or not we feel like Doom is rushed, which I do think that it's not going to be as impactful as Thanos, and I'm still iffy on the casting of RDJ as Doom. We saw Doctor Doom! That is so weird to think about, that we just saw Doctor Doom officially introduced in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I always, like, no matter what they were going to do with Doomsday, I always pictured that somehow in the Fantastic Four, like, before, again, we knew he was going to come in Doomsday, I always pictured that he was going to be, like, set up here for, like, a future story. Even when back then it was Kang. Because he's a Fantastic Four villain. He's the Fantastic Four villain. He is the Green Goblin to this Fantastic Four. And that's who he is. His origin, his, like, motives, that's based off of his relationship with Reed. It's so cool to see Doom. Like, to get that official introduction to Doctor Doom. Again, we don't see that much of him. I do think his design will probably change. Maybe I don't know if that's going to be his mask. But we saw Dr. MF Doom in the MCU. And again, I always sort of pictured that, yeah, he would be in the post-credits, maybe to set up himself in the future. Because I like that they didn't do Doctor Doom as the villain for this movie. Because, again, we wouldn't have gotten Galactus. But also because they've really, like, not done a good job with Doom. I do think they may have done a good job, but variety is needed. So, let's, yeah. The suit, again, it might change. I think we're going to get God Emperor Doom with all the white. Let's get into the theories. I have 3 ideas on why Doom is shot this way. 1, they just didn't have Robert Downey Jr. on set. We don't really know. 2, they're going to keep the impact for what RDJ's face might look like. Again, it's just a teasing that Doctor Doom's here. And 3, kind of playing into the big theory that they're going to hide the reason of RDJ as Doom. Let me talk about this. So the theory is that Doom, Victor Von Doom, not a Tony Stark variant as Doom, it's like actually Victor Von Doom. The theory is that RDJ is like not the real Doom, or it's not exactly who Doom is, and it's like a big cover-up for like the true bigger Doom. And that's like the big theory with it now, is that, yeah, and he has his mask off here, so I'm wondering if, like, he's showing Franklin his, like, fucked up face. Which also leads into the next theory, that Franklin's gonna fix his face, which kind of contradicts the RDJ theory here, that like, he takes on the appearance of Tony Stark to gain the trust of the Avengers and maybe, like, hide his disfigured face somehow. But it's clear he's going to use Franklin for something. He's able to create entire universes, and Galactus wanted him because Franklin is this all-powerful being. He's one of the strongest characters in the MCU, or in the Marvel Universe. So, I mean, he brings Sue back from the dead. I think it's going to be the main conflict for Doomsday and Secret Wars, possibly creating Battleworld. Plus, Doom has a great motive already, as in the Fantastic Four almost just let this world die. Like, they straight up went onto stage and said, yeah, we didn't give Galactus what he wanted. We're probably going to die. He wanted our kid, we said no. So, yeah. And like, their plan of moving to Earth, which I thought was really funny, didn't exactly work out. And so, Doom in this movie already has the motive of like, wow, Reed, you're kind of a dumbass. Kind of feeling, God, I wonder if he's going to be a big-ass hater. Because we just saw, we could see how big haters can be with Lex Luthor. I mean, the hatred for Reed, it's there. It's always been there. And it's really, it's like, when I'm saying these things about, like, this possible motive for Doom and using Franklin and whatnot, I'm picturing, like, a good as I was saying, like, these theories that I'm coming up with, like, that we are coming up with, about, like, this being, like, him using Franklin as Doom, and, like, him using Franklin to get his motive, like, the motive that he already hates Reed, not showing up there, like, the clues that we are given here, the theories, it's shaping up to be a really comic-accurate version of Doom. There's still hesitation, though, because it's such a last-minute decision The way that this scene was shot, I felt like was something added in like last minute after the RDJ Doom announcement. Like, all right, let's just get that set up because again, we've said it before, we said it again. They rushed it. They're rushing Doom, and yeah. There's another thing about this: the credits for Thunderbolts. What was that about then? That's not the same ship as the Fantastic Four one. And Feige did tease, I think he did tease that it may not have been the Fantastic Four. Shit. The movie doesn't end with what we thought it would be, and that was Galactus eating the Earth. We really thought that Galactus would sort of eat the Earth. I fucking pulled the cord on my webcam here, so it kind of fell. There's like no space on my desk. We thought that like the world would end and they would get transported to the MCU. So I was curious to see what that would be about. Marvel's been rough lately. We all know it. Recently it's gotten better with things like Deadpool and Wolverine and Daredevil and Thunderbolts and this movie. And there were a few missteps. I mean, I didn't like Brave New World and Ironheart, which, you know, they're not bad projects. It's just like, you know, as compared to like the other things that we have right now, it's not been the best. And I don't want to say that Marvel is fully back yet, but I'm looking forward to this next year for Marvel. Our next MCU movie is going to be Spider-Man. Like it's going to be a bit, yeah. But our next MCU movie, it's going to be Spider-Man. And, you know, we're going to have Daredevil Season 2. We're going to have the Punisher special, Avengers Doomsday, which, you know, I'm still a bit hesitant about, considering the behind-the-scenes stuff that's going on right now. Like, them rewriting things. And, hold on, let me actually get into another theory right here, because this is actually something. So, Franklin is older now. He's around 4 and 5, I'd say, right now in the movie. Vanessa Kirby, I know this is going to be weird. And I'm kind of joking when I say this. I'm really just, I'm joking, but I do actually am curious about it because of the Franklin thing. Are they going to introduce Valeria? Because, okay, first of all, I wouldn't want that. I'm not too sure if I would want that because you need that relationship with Doom in order for it to work. Doom helps Sue give birth to Valeria out of spite for Reed. Like, hey, you see that daughter you love? Yeah, that only happened because of me. You look at her, you're going to think of me. Naming her after someone that he knew personally. And, like, it's not like he didn't actually care for Valeria. No, he actually does care for Valeria. Who is messaging me? Okay, so, yeah. I see what it is. It's Zach's dumbass responding to my AirBuds things. Hey, Zach, if you're watching this, what is he respond? Hold on. No. He's responding with monkey emojis. I'm trying to film a review here. What is it? What's he responding to me with? Oh, a bunch of Israeli flags. That's lovely. That's fucking lovely. What's the song? This is the song he's responded. Like, this was just on shuffle from, like, years ago. What's the next thing? You bastard! You're a sick Okay, as I was saying about Valeria, though. Valeria Richards. I do wonder, okay, first of all, I'm not saying that they're going to rewrite it because Vanessa Kirby is pregnant in real life. I mean, the big joke was that, oh, wow, she's really committed to this role. She got pregnant for it. But they're filming Doomsday right now. There's a time jump. If they really wanted to, if they did really indeed want to, they could use that to introduce Valeria Richards. Because, again, that's a character who is tied to Doom. You know, she goes up to him and she's like, hey, Uncle Doom! She literally goes behind the Fantastic Four's back in this series to talk to Doom. You know, she trusts Doom. She views him as, like, another father, an uncle. Because, you know, they do genuinely care for each other like that. Doom was brain dead in this series, by the way. Did you? That was I gotta read what was before this. I love the Fantastic Four. So yeah, I'm gonna. There's just kind of wait a minute. But yeah, that's honestly it. I really am happy with what has Marvel done. I'm excited. Our next project is Wonder Man. Give or take, you know, I'm gonna watch it. I watch everything that comes out. Kind of. I didn't watch Agatha or Echo. Because I didn't care too much, but you know, Wonder Man's gonna come out. I wonder how that's gonna do. I'm stretching this for 30 seconds so the review could be 40 minutes long, but yeah, this was a big month. Jurassic World, Superman, Fantastic Four, and I'm unsure what my next review will be. And until then, I'm probably going to do like some other videos talking about the MCU reboot that's happened, but until then, you know what time it is? It's Clover!